I walked into what I thought was my birthday party and was greeted by a giant banner that read, "Congrats, Golden Girl." All around me, 83 people were cheering like it was New Year's Eve. I caught my mom laughing like she was watching her favorite sitcom. Then she dropped the bomb. "We used your $12,000 bonus to throw this party for her promotion." That came from my sister, of course, smug as ever. I muttered under my breath, "Guess birthdays don't count once you hit 30. Copy that," I added, stepping back, stunned. Later that night, I sat in silence, cold to the bone. I canceled 6 credit cards, reversed 21 transfers, and changed the property deed. By sunrise, the locks were different, and the house they thought they owned was no longer theirs. But before I dive into all that, let me say this. I've noticed the channel's been slowing down a bit lately. If you're here and you like these stories, hitting that subscribe button is the easiest way to show support. It's fast, it's free, and it really helps keep this community growing strong. And that moment kicked off everything that followed. "You've got to be kidding me," I whispered, loud enough to barely rise above the sound of clapping. 83 people applauding, a massive banner swaying in the breeze, and not a single mention of me. Smile. My mom called from the porch, raising a champagne glass like some self-appointed royalty. "Your $12,000 bonus paid for all of this. Wasn't it worth it?" The laugh that followed hit me like a slap. It took a couple of seconds for the weight of that sentence to sink in. 12 grand. My hard-earned bonus. Gone without even a heads up. I felt this buzzing in my chest, like a phone on silent vibrating nonstop. Then my sister chimed in, her voice high and condescending. "Come on. Nobody throws birthday parties after 30. Right then, it hit me. I wasn't a guest of honor. I wasn't even background noise. I was just the ATM. "Copy that," I said again, this time stepping away from the crowd, away from the yard. People waved at me like I was some vague +1 they couldn't quite place. No one noticed I hadn't broken a sweat or that my face had turned ghostly under the sun. I'd flown in from Austin thinking this was a low-key birthday dinner with the family. Weeks ago, my mom had texted me. Just something small, just us. Bring a nice dress. Then she ghosted. When I landed that morning, I even picked up a cake with my name on it. It was still sitting in the backseat of my rental, slowly melting in the heat. Instead, I walked straight into what looked like a mishmash of a graduation bash, a corporate cocktail hour, and a high school reunion all rolled into one overpriced backyard setup. There was a live quartet playing like it was a wedding, and a catering van parked out front. Balloons everywhere, mostly white and gold, just a hammer in the Golden Girl vibe. And right in the center stood Lila, my little sister, in a designer jumpsuit and heels she definitely couldn't afford last month when she claimed rent was a struggle. She saw me, gave a little wink, but said nothing. No, hi. No, happy birthday. Just a smug look that said everything. You're not here to be celebrated. You're here to clap. I didn't break down. I didn't scream. I smiled, nodded, and hung around just long enough to take it all in. That night, back at my hotel, sleep was out of the question. I laid there, staring at the ceiling, feeling the full weight of 10 years of gas money, Venmos, emergency cosigns, and family bailouts pressing down on my chest like concrete. At exactly 3 a.m., I opened my laptop. By 3:17, I'd frozen 6 credit cards. By 3:23, I'd reversed 21 bank transfers. At 3:46, I opened the folder labeled "By Morning." By the time the sun came up, the locks had been changed. By Sunday, they'd find out just how real that folder was, not with a call, not with a text, but while standing outside a house they no longer had any claim to. It didn't start with one big betrayal. No, it was death by 1,000 tiny could-yous. "Could you help me fix my resume? It's just 2 pages. Could you spot me $400 for mom's insurance? The payment bounced again. I'll pay you back, I swear. Could you cover dad's overdraft until his disability hits?" And every single time, I said yes. I told myself I was doing the right thing, that this is just what family does, that I was fortunate to be in a place where I could help. But helping is grabbing someone before they hit the ground. This was them diving headfirst off cliffs while waving and expecting me to build trampolines underneath them in midair. I covered everything. Mom's never-ending emergency dental procedures. Dad's 3rd car battery in 6 months. Ava's entire move to LA after her 4th failed career pivot. She tanked her design studio after forgetting to pay taxes and not knowing how to send an invoice. I even paid her penalty fees just so she wouldn't get evicted. The very next day, she posted a pic outside some trendy sushi joint. Caption: "Blessed and building. When you stop waiting for handouts, the universe provides." 35 likes. One from mom. One from dad. There was no shame, only pride. They acted like my financial support was her personal success. Then came the group chat update. Mom posted a photo of Ava at some co-working space, laptop open, iced coffee in hand. "So proud of our golden girl," the caption read. "Thank you to everyone who believed in her." I hit like, just to be polite. Then I saw the caption had been edited. It now read, "Special thanks to Dad, the only one who's always supported her dreams." I had wired $3,200 the week before to help Dad cover utility bills. I guess in our family, the word support means whatever's convenient in the moment. The final straw wasn't explosive. It was quiet. I was in a meeting when I got a notification, $519.76 charged at Best Buy. I hadn't bought anything. 10 minutes later, a text from Lila popped up. OMG, don't freak. I needed a new mic for content stuff. You're gonna love the video I'm making though. No heads up. No apology. She just assumed. To her, my bank account was like family Wi-Fi or sandwich meat, something you use without asking. It got even worse when I said no to helping Dad with another truck repair, after already dropping $800 on it the month before. He didn't text me privately. He dropped it in the group chat. Guess some people think helping family stops once the credit card maxes out. Thanks for nothing. That was the text. 3 laughing emojis came right after, one from my cousin, one from Lila, and one from my aunt. The same aunt who once called me our family's quiet hero. Hero? That was a joke. A week later, I started noticing changes, subtle, strategic. My name had been wiped off Mom's health insurance account. It vanished from the power bill too. Even the car lease I'd co-signed for Lila gone. She'd replaced me with herself. Just like that. No warning. No conversation. Just her name in place of mine, like I'd never existed. I confronted her. Calmly. No yelling. No crying. I just asked one question. Why? Lila looked right at me and said, "You're too sensitive, Brooke. You don't even use the car." And Mom chimed in with, "We figured you'd be too busy to notice. We're just simplifying." Simplifying. Like I was clutter. Like I was a receipt they finally tossed in the trash. A line item deleted from their little family spreadsheet. But the real breaking point? It came in audio form. I was cleaning out my Google Drive. Something about that backyard party had flipped a switch in me. I just wanted to delete everything. That's when I stumbled across a backup folder from years ago, synced from an old family tablet. One file caught my eye. It was labeled, M's Party Prep. Curious, I hit play. There were voices, glasses clinking, that fake, hollow kind of laughter that doesn't reach anyone's eyes. Then someone said, "Let's just tell her it's a birthday dinner. She'll show up if she thinks it's for her." Then came Lila's voice. "Brooke doesn't care what we spend her money on. She just wants a seat. And Mom? Well, she's not getting one near the front. We have clients coming." Clients. My bonus had been used to throw a party for Lila's clients. That was the moment I realized this wasn't a slip-up. This wasn't about being forgotten. This was about control. They hadn't just neglected me. They designed my absence. Carefully. Purposefully. Like architects drawing blueprints for my silence. I didn't tell them what I'd found. Instead, I made my own folder. I named it Proof. Inside, screenshots, receipts, audio files, old emails, and a copy of the mortgage showing my name on the deed. I even backed up every request they'd ever made and every lie that followed. Then I made 3 calls. One to my lawyer, one to my bank, and one to a locksmith. No angry texts. No, we need to talk. Just cold, clean revocations. I no longer had access to my own Amex, but by noon, Mom's utilities had bounced. Dad's truck problems were officially his again. And the house they thought they owned? By sundown, it had new locks. They didn't find out until Monday morning. Dad tried to punch in the garage code. Didn't work. Mom called the insurance company. Her account was suspended. Lila's phone logged out of Netflix, Hulu, Prime, Uber, all of it. And then she did what she always does, posted a vague Facebook update. Some people only support you when they can control the narrative. Stay golden. 17 likes. None of them from me. I was too busy finishing a document titled, "Here's What You Forgot When You Stole My Kindness." The next chapter? It was going to be louder than they ever imagined. "You're coming, right?" Mom's voice dripped sweetness, like tea masking spoiled milk. "Just dinner for my birthday. No tension. Just us." I smiled into the phone. Wouldn't miss it for the world. What she didn't know was that I had a folder in my purse labeled Golden Girl, Unfiltered. She also didn't know what I planned to play during dessert. The table was set for 12. Outdoor patio. String lights. Candles flickering like nothing had ever gone wrong. The cake said "Happy Birthday, Queen" in gold cursive. Of course, Lila was already there, dressed in white again, like it was her thing now. Dad was at the grill, acting like we were still in some 90s sitcom. He nodded when I showed up. No hug. Just, "At least you showed up on time." Mom kissed me on the cheek like she'd forgiven me for something. Lila raised her glass. "We're all here. Let's keep it civil this time." Dinner was theater. Lila talked about her branding work. Dad went on about the lawn. They tried to shove me back into the script. Quiet, polite, invisible. I smiled. I passed the potatoes. And I waited. At 8:34 p.m., Mom tapped her glass. "To family. Despite everything, we're stronger together." I stood slowly. "Actually, I've got something too." I reached into my purse, pulled out a flash drive. Lila's eyes narrowed. "What's that?" "Memory lane." I plugged it into the Bluetooth speaker. The same one I bought them last Christmas. A little static, then. "Let's just tell her it's her birthday. She'll come if she thinks it's for her." Lila's voice rang out crystal clear across the patio. "She won't ask questions. She's so desperate to feel included." Gasps. Mom's voice next. "We'll use the bonus." It's not like she spends it on herself. She'll never know. Dad chuckling in the background. Silence dropped like a curtain. I let it play for 20 more seconds. Then hit pause. No one moved. My aunt stared into her wine glass like she hoped it would swallow her. My cousin whispered, "Oh my God." Lila shot up from her chair. That was taken out of context. Really? I turned to her. Because here's the rest. Click. No one really cares about birthdays after 30. Brooke, grow up. Her voice again. Same tone. Same night. More clinking glasses. More laughter. Dad barked. You recorded us. Face red. I didn't flinch. No, I said. You did. It was sent to the family Google account. I said, calm and steady. You just forgot to log out. Mom stared at me like I was a ghost. I didn't mean it like that. Like what? I asked. Like you used my bonus to throw Ava a party and then acted like I was being dramatic? Nobody spoke. Not a word. Then someone finally did, and it wasn't who I expected. It was Aunt Linda, Mom's sister. She'd been quiet all evening, sipping wine and watching it all unfold. Now she looked Mom straight in the eye and said, "You've always done this. You always made her the fallback plan." Linda, Mom started weakly. "No," she cut in. "You don't get to talk right now." Then she turned to me, her eyes soft. "I didn't know, but I believe you." That cracked the whole damn facade. Dad shoved his chair back. "You're just bitter," he snapped. "You want to humiliate us." "No," I said, pulling a second envelope from my bag. "I want out." I slid it open and held up a printed copy of the deed. "And just so we're clear, as of yesterday, I transferred this property out of the trust. It's mine. Legally. Fully. Permanently." Ava gasped like I'd sucker punched her. "You can't do that." "I can," I said. And I did. Dad's voice dropped. "The locks changed," I said. Mom's face went pale. "The accounts suspended." Ava's lip started to quiver. "You think you're better than us?" I looked her in the eye. "No. I just think I'm done pretending we're family." I turned to leave, then paused by the birthday cake. Picked up the knife, cut myself a tiny corner, just frosting and a bit of edge. Held it up. "To 31, I said. Then walked out. The first letter landed Tuesday. Plain envelope, cream paper, bold serif header, eviction notice. They had 30 days to vacate. It was addressed to Ava Lawson, Diane and Robert Lawson, occupants with no legal claim to title. They didn't call. Not at first. Text came instead. "Dad, is this a joke?" "Mom, sweetheart, please explain this." "Ava, you wouldn't. You can't." I didn't respond. The second letter went out Thursday, from the bank. Confirmation of ownership change. All automatic payments suspended. New billing required. Friday, Mom tried to log into her health insurance portal. It kicked her out. She texted me, "System's down. Can you check on your end?" I replied, "No longer my end." By Monday, I had 23 missed calls. 5 voicemails. One from Ava, sobbing so hard she could barely talk. "Why would you do this? I can't just leave, Brooke." "Where am I supposed to go?" I texted her once. "Same place you'd have sent me if the roles were reversed." Dad showed up at my office building. Security stopped him at the lobby. He called from the parking lot. "You think a deed makes you powerful? That house was built with our hands." I said, "I paid the mortgage. You painted the shed." Then I blocked him. I didn't cry. Not once. What I felt was something colder. Sharper. Like glass after a storm. I changed everything. New apartment downtown. Hardwood floors. No photos on the walls. New locks. New mailbox. New phone number. This time, not shared with anyone on Mom's side. Even my wardrobe shifted. Structured jackets. Clean lines. Power colors. Deep navy. Soft gray. But this time, I wore them for peace. Not performance. My lawyer called a week later. "All documents served," she said. "They've hired a mediator. But you're not obligated to attend." "Let them scream into the void," I said. I don't owe them a sound. But they didn't stop. Mom left a voicemail, started calm, then cracked into hiccuping sobs. Ended with, "Are you happy now? You've destroyed your sister." Ava DM'd me from some burner Instagram. "You need help. I hope one day you get it. You've always been jealous of me." I took a screenshot, saved it in a folder titled, Archive, Noise. Then blocked her too. My cousin messaged me 2 days later. "They're saying therapy brainwashed you. That you've turned cold." I replied, "No. I've just become clear. At work, I got promoted. I didn't post about it. Didn't update my title. But I bought myself flowers, sunflowers. Big, unapologetic, and put them on my new desk. That day, I walked slower when I left the office. No calls. No emergencies. Just the sound of my heels against clean pavement. And when I got home, I poured a glass of wine, stood by the window. City lights blinked like static. Down below, traffic whispered through dusk. I leaned against the cool glass and breathed. No interruptions. No guilt. No gaslighting apology disguised as debt. Just this. Finally. And I said it aloud, soft, but certain. It's easier to breathe without background noise. Then it arrived. A letter. No return address. No watermark. Just my name. Brooke. Written in my mother's handwriting. shaky cursive I hadn't seen since I was 12. The kind she used on sticky notes, heat up leftovers. We're out late. I stared at it for hours. Didn't open it until night had settled over the city and my wine glass was half empty. Inside were two things. A handwritten letter. One page, folded twice. And a printed bank transaction. $71,864.09. Wired to my account that morning. Sender. L. Lawson. I sat at my kitchen table, holding the letter like it might bite. Mom's handwriting trembled across the page. I could hear her voice in the way the ink staggered. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect a reply. But your sister told us everything. The edited screenshots. The fake audio. The burner account. She brought documents. She cried. And for once, she didn't fake that, too. We verified it all. You weren't paranoid. You were precise. I read that line 3 times. I wish I could say we didn't know what we were doing. But deep down, I think we did. We just hoped you'd stay quiet. You were the one who made things possible, and the one we made invisible. I'm sorry. For every bill. Every time I looked away. Every time I let your father joke about you in front of people who didn't deserve to speak your name. This wire isn't a gift. It's a refund for what I can calculate, not for what I took. That last line hit like glass breaking underwater. Not for what I took. I read it again. 5 times. For a long time, I didn't feel anything. No tears. No anger. No vindication. It was like watching someone else's story. A movie where the villain finally puts the knife down and whispers, I did it. I didn't call her. Didn't text. Didn't smile. I opened my laptop, scrolled to the folder labeled Ledger, Family Edition, and went line by line. Every wire. Every favor. Every forgotten reimbursement. I crossed each one off. All of them. Except one. Me. 2 days later, another envelope showed up. This one typed. Stapled. 3 pages. Signed at the bottom in a trembling blue ink. Ava. Brooke. I lied. I lied to make you the villain because I didn't know how to be anything other than the favorite. You always scared me. Not because you yelled. You didn't. But because you endured. Because you showed up. Even when we gave you nothing. 2 months ago, I collapsed in the parking lot of a grocery store. Panic attack. They thought it was a heart attack. I had to list the people I hurt your name to. 2 lines. I asked Mom to help me calculate everything. We triple-checked it. This isn't a gift. It's yours. I can't undo it. But I can own it. I'm sorry. This time I cried. Not for what she said, but for how small I had made myself, hoping they'd notice me. Hoping one day they'd see me. Now they had. And I didn't need it anymore. I didn't reply to Ava either. Instead, I took $10,000 from the refunded total and anonymously donated it to a national nonprofit for financial abuse survivors. The note said, for everyone who got called selfish the moment they said no. Then I sent myself $12,000. Memo, birthday. Belated. Deserved. I changed the nameplate outside my apartment. It used to say M. Lawson. Now it reads, Golden Girl LLC. Founder and financial recovery consultant. Appointments via email only. I didn't open an office. I opened a boundary. 1 week later, the final envelope arrived. No return address. Just one photo inside. Me, 10 years old, holding a cake. Beaming. Behind me, almost out of frame, my dad. Looking away mid-blink. On the back, scribbled in faint ink. I should have looked at you then. Dad. No apology. No context. Just that. I dropped it in the sink. Lit a match. Watched it curl and blacken, the ink running like tears. It burned out on day 30 exactly. The only thing I posted on social media was a photo. I'm in a dark green suit. Barefoot. Feet up on my desk. A single sunflower in a black glass vase. The caption. Balance returned. Freedom paid in full. My phone buzzed with notifications. Old coworkers. Friends I hadn't heard from since college. Even a DM from someone who once told me I was too serious. But my favorite comment? Anonymous. Forgiveness suits you. I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed my reply. It's not forgiveness. It's freedom. And I meant it. Silence has never sounded this good.